Good morning. I'd like to call the Executive Committee for March 22nd to order. If we can get a roll call, please.
Mr. Lear? Mr. Hess?
Present.
Ms. Polk?
Present.
Ms. Weber? Mr. Payton?
Present.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Miller?
Present.
Mr. Long?
Present.
Mr. Hunter?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler?
Present.
Mr. Searay?
Present.
We have a quorum.
All righty. No public comment today. Mr. Miller, did you bring anybody with public comment?
I don't know if you just want to make an official public comment.
No? All right. All right. Motion for more chocolate? Yes. And ice cream? Then approval of the minutes, February 22nd. Is there a motion here? Mrs. Parker, Mr. Carrico with a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Under legislative, I don't have anything today for you. Steve didn't leave anything. Does anyone have anything of import that they've heard about? Any bills to discuss? You know, things are still kind of.
They're in session today, I think.
Yeah, they're in session, so we'll see. A lot of bills are being filed, which you know that happens. The 5 o'clock in the morning filings, that kind of stuff is still going on. I did see one about the sheriff who was just filed, had to be, much like the state's attorney, who has to be a member of the bar, pass the bar. The sheriff, they're trying to change it to where they have to have a policing certification. So, which makes sense. I'm sure they would support that. Most county sheriffs would. So, I've got a call into the sheriff on that one. So, schools, or excuse me, information services. Kevin here. You got anything today, Kevin?
To make note for those people who are on Zoom, we've repositioned the camera. Hopefully you can see more of the room now. You can see me speaking. You can see the people in the room speaking. One of the reasons we did that, not just because we moved the flag, which to a more prominent position, is this room is used for more than just this meeting. I believe you do like union negotiations, various other meetings where the majority of the speakers are actually either here or there. That made it bad for those meetings for the Zoom people because they couldn't see who was meeting, and those were important parts of that. So we expanded that. It's not the best picture in the world, but you can see they can see more of the room, so they can be more part of the discussion and know who's discussing the issue. Other than that, we're doing our normal process. We've 2 more copiers were installed in the courthouse. That's some extensive work. We're working with the highway department, as you know, that switch over with Mark. That isn't just to move there's data, there's hardware. They use that time to update some of their department hardware at that time. VAC had a problem. They lost connection to their server. We took a look at it. Their server was old, was failing. I gave them a less old server that got them back up and going. So we did our normal things. We're expanding the network as we always do in this building. We're trying to have further reach so we can put additional wireless units in to help with those people that need that here. We're updating firewalls constantly. I'm always stress testing the network, especially this year. I'll probably do it every month, every week, to make sure we're always protected given the world situation right now. So we're being proactive on that. So we're not waiting for stuff to hit us. That being said, when we do that, we do find things which we didn't do, but some people were doing things they probably shouldn't. That gets shut down. So we make them have to do it the right way. You don't find out they're doing it until you're doing that. So other than that, that's my update for the month.
Any questions for Kevin? Comments? All right, thank you. Nothing from health department today, or no monthly report, or from schools. Mr. Murphy, VAC, Karen Smatansky, do you have anything today?
I do, if you don't mind.
No, please come on up. On our way, is there a motion to approve the month, or put on file the monthly report? Mr. Payton, Mr. Hess with a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I actually have a very long report, and you guys can read it. I will not touch on everything, but there are a few things that I do want to point out. One is that I am trying to go to all the police departments in the county. We discovered that because Manteno had a homeless veteran show up at their doorstep like at 7, 8 o'clock at night. They had no idea what to do with it. Through the probation department, Veterans Treatment Court probation officer, that they needed to know what to do with that person. So they called me, and we worked for an hour or so and got accomplished something to do with that gentleman that night. And so I'm doing roll call briefings with the police departments at 6 a.m. and 2 p.m., and I'm trying to get that done throughout the county. I've accomplished Manteno and Bourbonnais at this point. I've gone to the chief of the Chiefs Luncheon, I believe is what it's called, to encourage them all to call me, get in contact with me so that I can do all of them. So I would encourage you to talk to your police chiefs and have them contact me also, because I would really like them to know who we are and what we do. The other thing is I had the great opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., not on the county dime. I was invited by our national association to go learn about politics, and no offense to all of you, but I hate politics. And I was taught a lot about what was going on with some of the veterans legislation that is out there right now to help county veteran service officers in areas where there are where there is no funding available, and also a thing called the PACT Act, which is going to increase veterans initiatives and presumptives for the Afghan and even Vietnam veterans, things like that. I was able to meet with some legislative people, and I've never done that before. It was quite interesting and quite fun. So I did like that. The other thing that is very exciting for our community, and I don't know that any of you know this, but our clinic in Bourbonnais, it's called a CBOC, Community-Based Outpatient Clinic, is on the 3rd floor in Bourbonnais. They take up a very small portion of that right now. They have gotten permission, and it's approved. They have a floor plan done, and they are going to take up the whole 3rd floor. That expansion is going to start soon, as I understand it, and hopefully be done by next year about this time. And they have offered us a single one-person office to rotate a service officer over there, at just 2 to 3 days a week. So I have already planned on hiring a service officer as an outreach person for this coming year. I've been looking for the right person to be that person, and that person will then be in that office 2 to 3 days a week, as well as throughout the community to be an outreach person. So it worked out really well. I've gone and talked to them once already, and we'll be in contact with them again. Again, there's a lot in this report. I encourage you all to read through it, and that is all I have, unless anybody has questions.
Chairman.
Let's go with Mr. Hunter first.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Karen, what building is that? You said it's on the 3rd floor. Where? I didn't quite hear where that location was.
Sure, it is on William Latham Drive. It's actually 581 William Latham Drive in Bourbonnais. It's on the 3rd floor. It's the only tallest building in Bourbonnais. It's the old Cigna building.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Also, could you comment on, and I don't want to monopolize on this particular subject, can you give a brief comment regarding, you and I serve on a committee, the Kankakee County Rapid Response Team. Could you just give an overview to the members about what that's all about and what we do?
Sure. There is a group of people that have done some police training. It's called the Kankakee County Community Crisis Response Team. It is a subcommittee of the NAACP. We have been meeting once a month for quite a while, and we will, I'm trying to think of what our actual purpose statement is, but basically, if there is a crisis in the community in which law enforcement has, like if there is a police shooting, let's just say the police shooting, and it's caused riots or upheaval of any kind, our team would be called by the president of the NAACP, and we would review what's happened, and we would, as a community team, make a statement to try to resolve the issues based on what we feel is right. Whether it's for or against the police, I mean, it's more of a team involvement, making a statement to help resolve community issues. We come from all walks of life. There are whites, blacks, Hispanics, male, female, transgender, LGBTQ, everything on that committee. I mean, we really have pulled members from every walk of life to be a part of that team. And we're working on bylaws. We have another training coming up April 2nd for the police to teach us how police respond to an incident. And it teaches us what that actually looks like in real time and why they respond the way they do. How is that?
Yeah, essentially what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, when there's some action in the community, as we well know, social media at times provide misinformation to the community. And what we're doing is identifying the facts and trying to resolve and identify fact from fiction. And that's why we have people from all walks of life, as Karen has indicated, and we provide specificity with respect to the actual incident. So the people that are on the response team have various standing in the community and show leadership from their respective communities in their realm of jurisdiction. It's a really viable committee, and it's been an asset thus far. We have ongoing meetings with law enforcement, Kinky, Bradley, Bourbonnais, Moment, St. Anne, et cetera. We've done a lot of other positive things too, which provide definitive information to the public.
Mr. Seaver,
Thank you,
do you have something? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Smetansky, got her. Thank you. Is there going to be any expanded services at the Bourbonnais location with because my father goes to that location and he likes the people there. He says it's very pleasant to go to, but are the services expanding?
Yes. I was told everything, and I'm going to tell you I'm not going to remember everything, but they already even have like a cardiac care lab, and I want to say orthopedic, and I can't remember. Hearing, like they already have somebody brought in like once or twice a month to do
Hearing aids
and stuff, but I think they're going to have like maybe a permanent place there because they see the need for that. But yeah, they're taking up that whole third floor to do all of that type of stuff. Probably not everything they need to have, but certainly more.
Well, that'll save a lot of vets' trips to Hines.
Yes.
And instead of going
I'm
all
really
the way
excited
up.
about
Yes,
it.
and that is great news, and I wanted to tell you thank you for that.
Yeah, I can't even tell you. The other thing, and it's on the report, you can read it, but they've assigned an actual community care specialist to us down here. She comes to our office every now and then. Her name is Robin, because she wants to help expand the veterans that are in VA healthcare because of that expansion over there. So people that don't know about it, because veterans still walk in my office. I had one yesterday morning. He's been out of service for 44 years. He had no idea he could get into VA healthcare. I'm like, well, of course you can, sir. Let's see what we can do. So, there's still people every day that have no idea they can do that.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks. All righty. Under County Administrator report, Anita Speckman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a relatively short report and some good news today. We currently have 10 openings for positions posted on the county website. That is the lowest number we've had since I began tracking those since last August. Of those, probation officers are 3, and the concern for Tom is that he's got one soon to be retired as well. So he's looking at probably 4 positions there. So he's really the top concern. The circuit clerk has 2 openings. We do have coming up a job fair on April the 20th that will be at the Casey Hall, and that is sponsored by Representative Haas. So we're participating in that. I think you've seen probably, hopefully, something in the paper about that coming up. There's going to be over, right now they have 30 different entities that will be at the job fair. So we're hoping for a good turnout there. Included in that will be some positions such as the corrections officers, which really, they do not post on the county website. They have their other sources. So even though they're not included in my numbers, there are openings there, quite a few, and they're going to actually send a representative that will be there with me representing their entity. And we've encouraged several of the departments, probation, circuit clerk, to really send a representative. It helps a lot if there's somebody there that can speak specifically to their opening. The last job fair that we did in August, Del Skimmerhorn came for the planning department. They had several openings, and he actually hired someone from the job fair. They met, did a brief, short initial interview, and brought him back, and he was a new hire. So it does help a lot if the department head who has an opening to be there to speak specifically with candidates to determine whether or not they might be a good fit for the department. So
Date, time again?
it's April 20th, Casey Hall, from 9 a.m. to noon. We are also currently working on the work comp audit, and Joanne does that. And what we do is we reconcile our actual payroll, 2021 payroll expense versus what is our premiums are based on. So we get our premium basis before the fiscal year starts, right? And it's based on estimated salaries. And then once the year is over, we have to report actual salary by work comp code. And we either get a refund or an additional charge. Initially, it's very preliminary right now, but right now we have our corrections salaries were much lower than what our premium was based on. That's a high rate classification, so I'm hoping for a refund. But obviously, not everything is done yet. We're waiting to hear back from, there are some entities that we just get the numbers for. That would be like Regional Office of Education, the Public Health Department, that we need to get those numbers. Highway numbers are in and submitted. Other things we submit are any 1099s. So if someone works for us on a contractual basis, either if we don't receive from them a certificate of insurance, then those wages have to be included in our work comp, so they have to be covered. So it's important to make sure that we've got the certificate of insurance on hand when we have a contractor, so we can prove that they have coverage of their own before they come here. So we're working on that right now. And then Kevin didn't mention it, but Kevin and I are working on our cyber insurance. He mentioned the additional concern with hacking and issues that are cyber related. And our cyber coverage has asked for an update to our application, which was submitted in September. So we have to go back through the application and complete it again. There is a contractor that is working with IPMG to help troubleshoot what might be areas of concern. So Kevin and I have a webinar on the 30th of this month to go through what they're seeing and what the key points are in that application as we complete that again. So we'll wait till after the 30th. We sat together and kind of filled it all out again, readdressed what we did 6 months ago, but we'll look at it again after we go through the webinar and kind of what this outsourced entity might suggest for us. So I think that's it, unless anyone has any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Hunter.
Or request. Anita, thank you very much for that. Was pretty informative. A request with respect to outreach, and if you could send the vacancies and postings and so forth. I know you got them on the website. But as far as an outreach initiative that you may want to pursue, sending those job postings to the Hippocrates Medical Clinic, which has a broad contact group, primarily Hispanics and low-to-moderate individuals who don't have insurance. Also, the NAACP of Kankakee County, also the Hispanic Partnership of Kankakee County as well too, and that kind of speaks to their particular constituency. So I know that some of your department heads have been trying to identify and recruit bilingual staff. So this may help in that particular regard. So thank you very much.
Well, I would say that you had mentioned that in the past, specifically last summer, and beginning in August, we did add both the NAACP and the Hispanic Partnership to our distribution of every single job opening, and we have asked them to post them on their Facebook page. Whether or not that happens, I'm not sure. I don't go back and double check that, but they are receiving that. Every time we have an opening, we do send it to both the NAACP and the Hispanic Partnership.
I'll follow up with them, but Hippocrates, I'm not sure because I'm on that board too, and I don't remember that ever coming across. But anyway, do what you can do, and we appreciate your outreach initiatives.
I would say that I'm a little disappointed because I see that the NAACP did have a job fair that the state's attorney's office was invited to that I didn't know about until I saw it on Facebook. That the state's attorney was invited to attend, and they had a booth there, and I didn't know anything about the job fair. I really need to know about those opportunities to be able to respond and to be present. I'd love to be in those communities and increase our exposure, but I need help.
Okay, duly noted.
Does anyone have anything else? Appreciate it.
Okay.
The next items under appointments and reappointments, the next 5 items can be combined if you so choose the motion. The final one we have to take separately because it's a choice between 3 individuals. So is there a motion to combine those first 5? And I'll read them in the record. Mr. Miller, Mr. Long, second. It's the resignation of Steve Schultz from the Limestone Fire Protection District, reappointment of Jordan Lee to the Momence Fire Protection District, reappointment of Dave Horn to the Emergency Telephone System Board, ETSB 911, reappointment of Robert Dennis to the Farmland Assessment Review Committee, and Peter Vial to the Farmland Assessment Review Committee. So that we have a motion and a second. Any thoughts? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. With this next appointment, we had a typo on last month's agenda. It was said Michael Hall, but we also did receive other applications between the time that we had executive and full board, so we brought it back here with the other 2 applications that we received. I will say, and there were some others that came in after we posted the agenda, but they were from employees. And that's not possible for an employee to be managing their own employment, if that makes sense. It just doesn't happen in that regard. So we had a few employees try to be on the board of the Moments Fire Protection District. So I wanted to explain that so people understand that just can't happen. You can't be both the management and the employee. What if there's something HR related, you're ruling on your own case? You see what I mean? It just doesn't work. And it never has. So I understand back in the 70s, they had this situation in the Fire Protection District. There was somebody who worked there that was a trustee. Not today. I wouldn't even bring it forward. So I'm just letting you know. So we have these three individuals. You see some applications in there. You see a couple of recommendations, one from the current board, one from a citizen. And so I will leave it up to the committee to discuss how they want to go forward. Mr. Hess, you had your hand up. I got you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I visited with Dave Horn, who is the acting president of the trustees now at Moments, and he sent a letter in requesting the possibility of appointing somebody not affiliated with the fire service now to give a new set of eyes. So with that in mind and reading over the applications, I make a motion that we accept Joey Baud as the new trustee for Moments.
Joey Baud?
Baud,
That's the third
B-A-U-D.
one on the list?
The
Joey
third one
Baud?
on the list.
Okay. So there's a motion on the floor for Joey Baud. Is there a second on that one? We'll go with Mr. Long on the second. Is there any other comments, discussion points relating this? All right, we'll go with a voice vote then. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. It's just a unique situation. When somebody came in, we had a typo on the name, so it wasn't necessarily an appointment the full board made yet. So we're in that situation. In case anybody else is wondering out there, if you're an employee and you want to be on the board of your fire protection district or whatever else, please don't apply. It's just not, it's not ethical to be in that position. So thank you. And I know they weren't trying anything. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean it like that. They may not be looking at it the same way that we have to as a board. So beyond that, openings. One opening on all the following: Clawson Park Drainage District, X-Line Creek Drainage, McGilvery Special Drainage. One opening on ETSB. One on the Board of Review, Metro Board, Kankakee Valley Airport Authority, Kankakee County Housing Authority, Bourbonnais Fire Protection District, Cabry Fire Protection District, Grant Park Fire Protection District, Limestone Fire Protection District, Mantino Fire Protection District, Pilot Township Fire Protection District, St. Anne Fire Protection District, and two openings on the following: Canavan Drainage District and Mantino number 9 Drainage District. Is there anything else? New business, old business? Is there any motions, Mr. Hess?
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second, Mr. Long? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.